Take a question now from Monica Hernandez.
Councillor Warmington, you have said that you want to repeal New Hampshire's current abortion law, which restricts the procedure after 24 weeks with some exceptions. This law is in line with abortion laws in states like California, Massachusetts, and New York, which prohibit the procedure after a fetus reaches viability. Why should New Hampshire have fewer restrictions than some of the most liberal states in the country?
This election is about freedom. And freedom for women starts with being able to make their own reproductive health care decisions. It starts with being able to plan and prevent and space our pregnancies. And we need to ensure that we have access to safe and legal abortion in our state. This ban of the governor's is a dangerous ban. I have called it out from the beginning. It criminalizes doctors for providing medically necessary care, and it jeopardizes the life and the safety of women. It interferes with our entire maternal fetal health care system by discouraging doctors from practicing in our state because they fear that if they make a decision in an urgent situation, that it can be second-guessed by boards and prosecutors in our state after the fact, and that their license or liberty could be at risk. This is a dangerous ban. We need to make sure that we repeal this ban and replace it with access to safe and legal abortion in our state.
Mr. Kuiper, should the current policy in New Hampshire be repealed? And if so, why should New Hampshire have a less restrictive law than some states like New York and Massachusetts?
I do not believe the government should be involved in medical decisions, period. It doesn't really matter if it's abortion or any type of surgery or any type of, procedure that someone wants to get. I do not think the government should be involved because there's just so many things that can go wrong, and you just cannot legislate for all those eventualities. And I think it's really important for people to understand that the governor cannot just legalize abortion or change the law themselves. We need majorities in all the branches of government to do that. And that's why I believe that I'm the best candidate, because I can get young people and working class people out to vote in November, and we can win those majorities in not just the Senate and the House, but also the Executive Council, so that we can start funding Planned Parenthood again. Thank you for the question.
Now, Mayor Craig, you have also said that you support repealing New Hampshire's current abortion law. Why should our state have fewer restrictions than some of the most liberal states in the country?
So I trust women to make their own healthcare decisions and don't believe government plays a role in a decision that should be between a woman and her doctor, and I will fight to ensure it stays that way. And we need to remember what just happened last session. We had Republicans put forward a 15-day and a 15-week abortion ban. These restrictions are going to continue. And let's talk about Kelly Ayotte, because she has supported a national abortion ban. She has voted 6 times to defund Planned Parenthood. She shepherded Neil Gorsuch through the Supreme Court process and then celebrated when Roe v. Wade was overturned. Reproductive freedom is on the ballot, and I want to be very, very clear with everyone. I support a woman's choice to choose, and I will fight to ensure it stays that way.
Quick follow-up for the candidates here, and we'll start with you, Mayor Craig. Democrats get mad when Republicans say the phrase abortion up until the moment of birth, saying it's wildly misleading. So here's a simple yes or no question. Do you personally oppose elective abortion after a fetus reaches viability, Mayor Craig?
Adam, we've talked about this. It is a Republican talking point. It's not happening in New Hampshire. We need to make sure women have the choice to make about their own bodies, and I will ensure that that happens as governor.
Mr. Kuiper.
You know, I really think that men should, frankly, stay out of this debate. I think that women should be able to, live their lives how they choose and get whatever medical procedures they choose to or choose not to get. And as a man, I just think that I do not have the right to make that call. Thank you.
Councilor Wilmington.
You know, there is no such thing as an elective abortion in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It simply doesn't exist. This is a Republican talking point, and it is intended to divide us. Right now, we have a situation where women in their 3rd trimester, if they have a tragic situation, their life and safety is at risk because their doctors are not permitted to make the decisions they need to make. They essentially have to consult with a lawyer before they can deliver the health care that women need. I trust women and in consultation with their doctors to make the right decisions.